This is what's wild in New Hampshire by wildlife biologist Eric Orff. I'm down in Bear Brook State Park, near where I live, a wonderful place with Kyle Lombard and Scott Rolfe from the Division of Forest and Lands. So I met with Kyle back in May after the big frost, and we talked about the impact. And actually, you and I broke the news to the state and really to New England that there'd be no apple crop. We broke that news. You and I did. So what news can we break today? How did the frost affect the trees? And what have you seen? What are the results? And also, we talked that day about some new diseases coming into the state. Have you seen the impact from those? So, and Scott, chime in with your observation. You've been at it a while. We will just ask, how long have each you been at it? Kyle, how long you been at it?
Oh my gosh, you really want to know?
Yeah.
It's my 30th year.
30th year.
Division of Forest and Land.
I'll move and make sure we can hear it.
Yeah.
30th year.
30th year with a division, and I've been in forestry for 33 years.
Okay. Scott?
I've been a forester with the state for 24 years.
24 years. So we both have some longevity here. So what did you see, Kyle, about the impacts of the frost and the other things that have happened over the summer? And what's going on with New Hampshire's forests this summer?
Yeah, we've had a really good growing season. A lot of rain, slow to develop growing degree days. So as we sort of predicted, we are seeing tons of foliage, fungus, and things that would,
all the rain,
yeah,
good yet bad. Forest
yeah,
fungus.
And if you're looking for the positive of all the rain, it just pretty much wiped out all the gypsy moth.
Okay.
You know,
So
the entomophaga fungus that normally controls it is sort of controlled by how much rain we get every spring.
okay.
And we got tons of rain this year, and so the fungus went crazy, and so when the fungus goes crazy, it wipes out gypsy moth.
Nice. So
Yeah,
that's
so
that spared the forest compared to what
Yeah,
you'd
I mean,
expected
we still
early
have
on.
a lot of defoliation this year, but I think it's over.
Okay.
We will not have any significant amount of gypsy moth defoliation next year.
Did they impact the understory? I know when we had the bad gypsy moth in the 90s, you know, the understory got reduced.
Yeah, white pine and hemlock got clobbered, especially in the North Conway region where it was the heaviest. Whole understory stands of hemlock are dead now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did that happen just recently again?
Last year.
Okay.
Year, yeah.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, lots of mortality in the North Conway area.
Wow.
Not sure exactly why. Site related, I'm sure.
Yep.
But more gypsy moth oak mortality in the North Conway area than we expected.
Wow.
Sure.
From the moth.
Yeah, probably
Smudgy moth. Yep.
1,500, 2,000 acres of
Okay.
mortality, which
All
is
right.
a lot for us.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, normally we don't see that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Where have you been seeing, Scott?
Well, since we're in Bear Brook right now, just up slope from us, I was checking that. It's a mixed black oak, white oak stand. And I was checking for gypsy moth damage earlier in the year, and there was significant defoliation as well as the freeze effect of the leaves. They were initially coming out, and those trees were just barely starting to re-leaf. And the
They
gypsy
came
moth-
so late. When
Yeah.
in May I met with Kyle. He said, "Well, the leaves will be out in August." I said, "Yeah, he's lied to me. They'll be out end of June or maybe 1st of July." Right again, Kyle.
And in that situation, what had happened was the gypsy moth didn't have anything to eat in the canopy.
Okay.
So they were all in the understory white pine.
Ah.
And they were feeding on actually the witch hazel and the white pine, surprisingly. And then when the trees re-leafed, they went back up to the canopies, and they were starting to defoliate the canopy again. And we just saw some mortality on the way in.
Okay.
There was some brown tops.
Yep.
Really light tops. So there's going to be some mortality in those heavy hit areas.
So how much of New Hampshire do you think was affected by that?
Well, the frost or gypsy moth?
Well, I guess the combination.
Yeah, well, the frost is, you could just take a oak forest type map of the state of New Hampshire, and that's the
So basically,
extent.
south of the Whites.
Yeah, and I even saw it up in Lancaster.
Okay.
I mean,
There's a few stands up
anywhere
that
there
way.
was oak, there was frost damage.
Wow, okay.
But for the most part, where the oak is healthy, they bounce straight back.
Okay.
It's where the spongy moth has been for 2 or 3 years that really we saw the mortality.
Okay.
Some Henniker sites, a few Concord sites, and really Conway and North Conway.
Wow.
Tons of mortality. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
How's it impacting a nut crop?
Well, from what I've seen so far in my mass surveys, their acorns are far and few between.
Okay.
And some of the areas that may not have gotten the freeze like other pockets have, they do have some acorns.
I noticed that some of the acorns are very small and dropping already.
They were, and some of them dropped very early. And I believe the trees that were hit by the frost kind of aborted those acorns because they didn't have a solar system to support the growth further into the season. So there was a lot of small brown acorns below some of these trees. Now some trees were able to hang on to some acorns, but we've seen the pip-gall wasp.
Okay.
And those have really affected some of the acorns, and they're actually dropping those early. And
yeah, because they
got
got a hole in
nut
them.
inside, but there's actually a larva inside as well. Eating that.
There'll be a hole in the acorn. Yeah. Huh, wow. So, any other impacts? Let's see. We got the
Beech leaf disease.
That's
That's always a good one.
Yep,
to give you an update on.
yep.
That was how fast it's spread around the state is really surprising.
Wow.
You know, last year at this time we had just found our first outbreak at Bear Brook State Park.
Right.
Okay.
And this year, 12 months later, we've got verified outbreaks in 35 towns.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
is that you said the beech leaf disease?
Beech leaf disease is pretty much in all the counties. We've found it in all the counties south of Coos.
Okay. Wow.
And it's probably pretty ubiquitous south of the Lakes region.
Okay. And we don't know the long-term impact of that at this point.
No, but it's not looking good. So it means so sites that have had the nematode for 3 years, the understory is starting to die out.
Wow.
You know, the trees with the lowest vigor are
Okay.
going first.
Yep.
Big, beautiful crown beech are lasting a long time,
Okay.
but it's the understory that is.
So no replacement beech.
No.
Wow.
No.
Our
So-
beech forest will be a thing of the past.
Well, it could be. I mean, it's hard
Oh.
to tell right now. It's so unique and novel. We've only known about this nematode for 10 years.
Okay.
We don't even know where it's from,
Wow.
technically.
Yep.
We know that there's some really close, similar types of nematodes in the Pacific Rim,
Right.
but we don't even know where it's from or how it got here.
Huh.
And
Wow. Or
so
what to do.
We have a lot to learn,
Right.
obviously.
Wow.
There's people working on it.
Hmm.
Eventually there'll be pesticides and biocontrol.
Yep.
How well it works in the woods, I don't know.
Hemlock adelgid.
Yeah, the good news on the woolly adelgid is that last winter was a really, it just clobbered it.
Okay.
And we had, like, in most places, 98% mortality.
All right.
The problem is when there's millions of them on the tree, that 2% bounces back pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
they got a year reprieve,
Okay.
and so it'll come and go and be bad and then good and then bad and good.
Okay.
You know, our forests, we get a lot of rain and our soils are pretty good. They last a couple decades with adelgid.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
it's a slow burn.
Yeah. It's a little burn. So potential to lose our hemlock over time.
Well, yeah, in some
Wow.
sites. So some of the southern, Nashua, Manchester corridor,
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend managing for hemlock.
Okay.
Once you get above Concord, I think
Okay.
you're,
Enough chill to
yeah.
maybe control it. Okay. Cool. Anything else? Any other thing on the horizon?
Oh boy. Nothing comes to my mind.
All right. So Bear Brook, maybe not change. We may lose our beaches and the hemlocks here. They're on the edge of surviving.
Well, there's always winners when there's losers.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of time to figure out who the winners are going to be. Red
Our
oak,
our forests are ever changing.
red maple, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
we
totally different now than it was 200 years ago, and 200 years from now it'll be completely different than it is today.
yeah.
But they'll still be beautiful.
Yeah. We'll be hooking our hammocks to the palm trees.
I don't know about that. Maybe hickory and oak.
Maybe hickory and oak. Yep. All right. Down at Bear Brook, talking to Kyle Lombard and Scott Rolfe and asking about the impacts of diseases and the hard frost on our forest. And here you are in Bear Brook. It's a great place, 10,000 acres. Nice place to visit. If you haven't been here, stop down. A well-managed park. Thank you very much. This is wildlife biologist Eric Orr for What's Wild in New Hampshire.